In one of the earlier tutorials I suggested that when we start to put video into what is primarily a still image audio visual, we really do open up a whole new can of worms because of the file sizes we're going to be dealing with. Now I think I can graphically demonstrate that with the file we're going to use here. Let's take a look at what I've currently got on screen in Photoshop's Bridge. I've got the images that we use to make a small presentation called Seascape. You can see the executable file from a Pictures-to-Exe slideshow. It's about 3 minutes long and it's 13.17 megabyte in size. To the left I've got a piece of video which runs for about 6 minutes and 35 seconds, which is quite long for a piece of video, but as you can see it's also HD, but the file size is 2 gigabyte. Now it's quite possible within a Pictures-to-Exe slideshow to have a piece of video that runs for 30 seconds in length, and yet we're only showing 10 seconds of that video. What we're doing under those circumstances, of course, is overloading our slideshow with 3 times the length of video that we really need. So what we're going to do here is take this file, which is massively oversized both in gigabytes and also length, and we're going to take just a small part of that video and prepare it ready to drop it into our slideshow. But how much do we want? Do we want 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 15 seconds? Well, if we were about to make a slideshow, which was going to be predominantly a still image slideshow, but maybe we wanted a couple of pieces of video in that slideshow somewhere, wouldn't it be an idea to maybe place a holding picture in place of the video, so we can make our slideshow, get all of the timings correct, and once we've got that done, then we know exactly what length of video we require. So when we trim the video, we don't have to put 20 seconds of video in when we only need 15, because it is going to increase the file size considerably. For demonstration purposes here, I've got 6 minutes and 35 seconds of video, and I want 10 seconds. We're going to trim 10 seconds from this video for use in our slideshow. Now, as you can see by the spinning round of the screen, I've opened up Photoshop, but we're not going to be opening up still images here. We're going to be working on a video. So I'm going to take you to the top right, the little drop down option at the immediate top right, and I'm going to choose the motion section of Photoshop. And I've got a little sign down there that says click that icon to add a video, so I'm going to do that, add the media, and I'm going to locate the video. Now I know it's in my photography drive, in my slideshows, in my seascapes. There's only one in here. There it is. I'll open that up. Now because it's a huge video, it's going to take just a little while, but I'll stop my recording and start when it's fully on screen. Well, there we have our video on screen, and we have a timeline down the bottom. To enable me to work on this without listening to the background sounds that come along with this video, I'm just going to temporarily mute them by using the little icon down here. Just going to turn it off so that when I press play, the video will play, but we don't have to listen to any background sounds. Now we've got to choose which part of this 6 minutes and 35 that we're going to use. Now this was taken early in the morning. Can you see little drips of water dripping off the bird's beak? It might be nice to take 10 seconds around that. He's moving around nicely, I think, not too much, but certainly enough for our needs. So I'm going to stop that for a moment. So you can probably see what I mean when I say that when we're shooting video, it's probably better if we were to shoot shorter individual clips rather than leave the camera running for the length of time I did here. On the one hand, it gives me over 6 minutes of video from which I could take a number of different takes if I wanted to, so I suppose it gives me versatility, but it also gives me a little bit of difficulty too. Fortunately, we've got a section at the front that we're going to use, so perhaps we can start by setting the cursor back at the start, and I'm going to just click at the end of that and I'm going to drag it to the left. What I'm effectively doing here is cropping it. So there we're back to 1 minute. Once I get to that, we've got something which is a little bit easier to handle. So let's press play again and just look at the video right from the start. Because for the first few seconds the bird is so still, just the tail moving, that it's difficult to see anything. So I have just hit the space bar and stopped my recording, because just before that point the bird starts to move. So if I just drag back a little bit, I can put my cursor at the end, drag that to the red line. So what I've got now, I've trimmed the front as well, so when I press play, you can see we've got movement straight away. A couple of drips fall off the beak, he looks down, clicks his head. I'm going to stop it at that point. We may have slightly more than 10 seconds. But I'm going to pick up the end of the video, drag it back to the red line, and there we have it. Let me reset that by using this option here, and we'll just play that in its entirety. Now that should be enough video for our use in our slideshow. So what we need to do now is to export that video. So we're going to just create a video of the length with crop to, or they call it trimming more when we're using video. So to export the video, I'm going to go to File, Export, Render Video. A panel will appear. It comes up untitled, so I could, on this occasion, call it Cooker 1 for start, MP4. The folder, I'm going to select the folder, I think. I'll click to navigate to it. I'm working on my computer. I want my photography drive. I want my seascape, so I want it in the same folder that the original video was drawn from. So that's the correct folder, so I can click OK to that. There's nothing else I need to change here. I want to remain with the video at high quality. I want to keep the HD resolution. So there's nothing I need to change. I can hit render and allow this to do its work. Now this normally takes a few seconds, and perhaps I'll try to talk of something sensible while the green bar is actually going across, because we're only rendering here 10 seconds of video, and yet you can see it's taking quite a bit of time to do so. So perhaps it would be a good idea if I stop my video. Once it's complete, I'll navigate. Well, it's speeding up nicely now. I'll keep talking. I was going to say once it completed that, we'll take a look into Windows Explorer, because it would be nice to compare the size of this file with the one we trimmed it from. The spinning round of the screen brings us into Windows Explorer. There you can see the original video, which was 2 GB in size. Now we've got just 10 seconds, but even that 10 seconds is 32 MB in size. Now when we think that the Seascape slideshow, albeit it was a demonstration slideshow with only 20 images, was only 13 MB, it does give you an idea of just what video can do to the size of your file. No problem if you're playing this on a powerful PC and you don't need to transport it over the internet, but if you do, it can cause you 1 or 2 problems. And you can see the problem if I'd have put 30 seconds in when I only needed 10, because we could triple that and suddenly we're up to 100 meg with just 10 seconds of video. Although I muted the sound with the video in Photoshop, it's not going to be muted on the file that we've just produced. It was just done so I could talk while we were preparing the video. I'm going to double click this and it will play, and we will hear some background noise. I'll just do that, and we can see the 10 seconds of video that we have ready to put into our slideshow. Here, as you can see, I've opened up Pictures-to-Exe and I have just a 20 slide demonstration slideshow on screen. Let's assume that this particular slide was placed in there to hold a place ready for our video. I'm working in the timeline here. I'm just going to hit the delete key once I've highlighted that. Remember, it removes it from here but not from the file list. Then I can drag my cooker video down, and Pictures-to-Exe is going to ask us if we want to optimize this. We've already looked at why we need to do that, so I'm going to click to optimize and allow that to complete. So once that optimization has taken place, we can see 3 videos now in the file list. The original, which is still over 6 minutes and 30 seconds. The 10 seconds we trimmed from Photoshop or using Photoshop, but now we've got the converted and optimized video via Pictures-to-Exe. So I'm going to highlight the image and go to my slide list, because in the slide time I'm going to put 10 seconds in there to make sure that my video doesn't stop playing before the next image removes it from the screen. So what we really need to do is to go back to the timeline, put the cursor in this position, and we can press play and maybe just watch this for a moment. Now, just before I do press play here for those 10 seconds, can I just remind you that I am recording a video and it has a limit to the number of frames per second I can capture. So what you're about to see here is not exactly representative of what you're going to see on your own PC. So please make a little bit of an allowance when I press play. So you can see what I was talking about. Our video plays or is moving from the moment it appears on screen, which is that point there. But of course, as it goes through its movement, it's still actually visible right to the last half a second of that video, and even then we can still see it. If it comes to a stop, sometimes that can be pretty disconcerting on the eye. So we need our video to be running from the time it appears to the time it disappears.